Why? Why? That doesn't make sense. Generic intro and the Dak goes moo here, back with another kill count reaction. Today we're doing Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers, and Halloween, I guess it would be 6, The Curse of Michael Myers, which they actually had a 6-year gap between these two. Last video was Halloween 3 and Halloween 4, with Halloween 3 being a really weird one, but apparently it has like a cult following now, and a lot of people really enjoyed it. I didn't think it was that bad. It just didn't have Michael Myers, so it was really weird to be called Halloween. But I guess technically it would just be a Halloween movie and not a Michael Myers movie. You can check my reaction to the last video though. I'll leave it right up there. Also, link down below in the description. Also, I'm going to place on my channel with all of my other kill count reactions. Going to chronological order if you're going to binge watch through all of them. Also, we are like less than 800 subscribers away from 100,000 subscribers. We're trying to hit it before the end of the year. Only have a few more weeks left to do it. It's going to be really, really close. So if you're not already subscribed, I would greatly appreciate it if you could do that. It's completely free. You can always unsubscribe at any time. But if you want to support the channel and get all these videos there, you become a patron like these people right down here and help support the channel, allow me to make all these videos, because it would not be possible to do this without them. I do read our comments whether you're a patron or not, whether you're subscribed or not, but I really hope that you could at least be a subscriber, because 100,000 is just crazy to even think about. But thank you so much for being here. Hopefully I can make your day a tiny little bit better. Also, I should be streaming Devil May Cry 5 today at 5 p.m. over on Twitch. That's my first playthrough. I started it last week, so I'm about 2 hours into it, and I am loving it so far. But let's go ahead and jump into Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers. Alright, so far, haven't had any copyright issues or YouTube
Welcome
issues,
to the Kill
actually.
Count, where we tally up the victims in all our favorite horror movies. I'm James A. Janice, and today we're looking at Halloween 5,
Love it,
which
James.
often includes the subtitle, The Revenge of Michael Myers.
Also, real close to 100,000 subscribers.
After the previous film ended with an indication that Jamie Lloyd would become evil, head producer Mustafa Akkad was like, nah man, let's just make another Michael movie. Halloween 5 picks up immediately after Part 4, kind of like how Part 2 took place right after the original. But like unlike with that situation, Part 5's production was super rushed and had an entirely new crew on it whose work motto was apparently make it up as you go along. Like they literally didn't have a completed script when they started shooting. The result is a bizarre entry that introduces a crappy origin story for Michael and a mysterious Man in Black character who was never even written into the script. They just made him up on the fly to fix plot problems, and man does it show. For all its flaws though, at least this movie still has a bunch of kills. Let's find out how many and get to them.
Did people like it more than the third one, which apparently has a cult following,
right where the last
and people enjoy it?
Off, with the end of that riveting truck sequence, and then Mr. Myers getting lit up by a bunch of guns until he falls down into a mine shaft. We pick up with new footage that follows his escape underground, where he crawls away just in time to avoid the stick of dynamite they toss down there.
That looked like 3-6.
A river, and this is honestly the moment I lose any and all respect I ever had for the guy. How am I supposed to take this asshole seriously when he's floating down a lazy river with his mask on? This scene is just begging for a Benny Hill backing.
What's wrong with that? I mean, he got shot a bunch of times and fell down a well.
Onto drier land, and then winds up in a friggin' pirate cove, it looks like, where this beheaded gentleman runs into him. Why are you there? Because Michael passes out before he can properly kill the dude. Then, okay, get this. It fades to black, and a title card tells us that it's Halloween Eve 1 year later, and a maskless Michael is just now waking up.
A year?
Place, so what? This old dude just let him sleep there for a whole fucking year? What? He grabs his mask, which looks different yet again, and then kills the guy who gave him free room and board for the past
year and took care of him.
This timeline decision makes no fucking sense to me, and I hate it. Even worse is why he woke up. Apparently, he has some sort of psychic connection to Jamie Lloyd, who was wriggling around in bed, having a nightmare about the end of Part 4. She woke up screaming, except she didn't, because in this movie, she's lost her voice. Great, just what I wanted to watch in Halloween 5, a silent kid actor. But yeah, it was her fidgeting that somehow linked to Michael and woke him up so he could show off the shitty new wrist tattoo that'll lead to the
These movies were super successful, right?
History, Stonehenge magic included. Jamie is taken to an operating room where crazy Sam Loomis is waiting to croak into the camera.
She will stabilize. She's dying. No. She has something to tell us.
He's watching over her at the Haddonfield Children's Clinic, where Rachel is currently visiting, because she's still around, which is great. Less great is Rachel's friend Tina, who's a total nothing character. And the introduction of yet another dog, Max, who, like, I mean, you know what's gonna happen to that dog. Loomis is watching over Jamie because the neighborhood hates her guts for having devil's blood in her or whatever. And also, because someone has to tend to that pumpkin man's Raggedy Ann hair. Rachel goes back home, where where Michael watches from the bushes, and she takes over the pantsless role left vacant by Kelly Bookdubeyer's death as she feeds her dog to some super fucking 80s music. I hate that
she's
the
way too happy to feed the
savvy
dog.
final girl became a bubbly airhead in this one, and actor Ellie Cornell was also not very fond of the change. Rachel's in the middle of a shower when Jamie freaks out and draws a psychic picture of Max, signing that the dog's in danger. Loomis calls up Rachel and tells her to go on and get out of the house. Good thing she drops the phone and listens to him despite her lack of clothing.
Wait, she didn't put clothes on?
In that house. The cops are called to check everything out, and we're introduced to two bumbling officers like this.
They do not.
Nothing below.
Yep, you heard right.
They do not have the sound effect.
Fucking clown sound effects playing when these doofuses
That's
are on
actually in the
screen.
game.
When did this become
movie.
vaudeville?
Rescue cats. Find dogs. That's a job. And we love it.
The Terenzi brothers, they are not. Ugh. In any
Why?
case, Jamie's dog vision ended up being a false alarm, but that doesn't stop Loomis from
It wasn't a false alarm, though.
asking
He was
her to
there.
help him find Michael.
You sense something, don't you? Tell me what you know. Right. Jamie, please.
Instead of traumatizing Jamie more, maybe Loomis should be back at the brother's house with Rachel, since Michael is still there and ends Rachel's pantsless adventures by jumping out and stabbing her with some scissors. And just like that, this movie senselessly kills
look
a
like my
character
scissors
who
that
we
are
already had a connection
right there.
to
I had to make
for
sure
no
they're still
good
there.
goddamn reason. It's kind of like Kincaid and Joey in Nightmare 4. It sucks, yo. At least there's another returning character that we already know, though. Sheriff Meeker, who's still putting up with burnt-up Looney Loomis and his real insensitive ways.
How did he survive everything?
Your own daughter? I don't know. Of course you don't forget.
Tina goes to Rachel's house, where Max is somehow thankfully still alive, and lets herself in.
He survived. He
Rachel
blew up at the end of the second movie.
She just assumes that she left town with her parents, so that means the house is hers for her to roll around with stuffed animals in. Downstairs, she runs into Sammy, another friend who also just let herself in, and the two of them leave, not knowing that another squatter has already.
Do people not lock their house? Actually, that makes sense. People don't lock their houses.
Nah, he's there in the background. The girls frolic around together for a bit before they get picked up by Tina's douchebag boyfriend, whose name is, get this, Michael. Why would this movie have a meatbag victim with the same name as the killer? You'll find out later, don't worry. Loomis shows up to Jamie.
There's actually a reason for that?
Yell at her like a madman some more.
You know where he is.
Why?
Good
I guess he's going
Remember
insane,
when the
too.
craziest thing Loomis did was cuss out neighborhood kids? Oh yeah, maybe we actually should have seen this kind of thing coming. He cryptically asks Jamie if she knows why Michael has some kind of power over her, since apparently Michael made her stab her foster mom. And although
But
Jamie
I thought that didn't actually happen.
The movie begins to unveil the reason with this man dressed in black who gets off a bus and kicks a small dog. So you know he's related to Michael somehow. Loomis takes one of his many firearms and heads to what's supposed to be the Myers house, even though I know the
like
Myers house, and that is #NotMyMyers house. This is my Myers house. The OG, son.
Wait,
Loomis
why is he
walks
at
around
the actual house?
Not hearing
I guess it
the
was
very
filmed
loud
in
shoes
LA,
of that man
right?
in black following him, who's also got a stupid-ass wrist tattoo on him, just like Mike. Speaking of Mike, right now he's standing by a bush in the middle of the goddamn day, watching Muscle Car Mikey wax on, wax off, and back his bird into a garage to pick up some beer. After Mike gets the goods, Michael Myers walks up and scrapes his precious car with a little garden rake. So Mike gets out to defend his lady's honor and fight this white-faced fool. Of course, real Michael ain't about to put up with that nonsense.
Yeah, no.
So he just grabs Mike by the throat and
Mike,
gets
not
into his
Myers.
knee so he can stick that garden rake straight into his head. Not a bad kill at all, part 5, so at least he can give us that.
That might be the golden machete.
That night, Michael Myers frickin' drives that Camaro to Rachel's house and honks the horn to pick up Tina. And this is when we see why
machete's the bad one.
Character had the same name as Michael.
Golden chainsaw?
Michael, open the door.
It's to be funny, I guess, as Tina mistakes Michael Myers for her douchebag boyfriend, Michael.
Michael, don't I even get a kiss?
See, it's hilarious. Especially when she gives him a smooch, or when he skids the car to a stop for her to get cigarettes.
Psycho boyfriend.
Haha, get it? Because he is. Tina, you don't even know how funny you are. Meanwhile,
or how
the
right she
Children's Clinic is having a goblin costume pageant that Jamie's about to be in, even though that don't look like no goblin costume to me. She's joined by her little kid crush, a stuttering character named Bill.
These are for you.
Weird how the stutterers are always named Bill. They still always seem to get the girl.
Wait, what else is that?
But Jamie
I mean,
the whole
I guess
goddamn
stutters for the win.
contest
Let's
when
go.
She collapses to the ground in a psychic fit because she senses that Tina is in danger.
Tina, where is she, Jamie?
Jamie sees in a vision where exactly Tina is, and we get this ridiculous scene where the mute kid and the stuttering kid try to childbirth a sentence together.
Cookie.
How?
Woman.
Cookie woman.
Oh my God, all that for Cookie Woman? What is this movie? It works though, I guess, since everybody knows the Cookie Woman, and Tina gets picked up by the cops. She's brought to the clinic where she has a tearful reunion with Jamie, who finally speaks to say her name.
Tina.
Yeah,
there we
so
go.
Sweet, Jamie.
That's good.
You're finally reunited with your foster sister's friend. Wait, why should we care about this relationship?
Wait,
Tina's
hold up.
nothing. Jamie pleads for Tina to stay with her, but Tina's like, nah, dude, I'm trying to
just
get
in the
some
story.
tonight, and leaves. On her way out, she runs into Loomis, and they have a veritable crazy off.
Be sensible.
Why is she not?
sensible if I can help it.
I guess to talk about the
I think she
airhead
took
final.
this one
Yeah.
down. Tina heads to a party so she can get Night at the Rocks buried by a Native American and a Russian ballet villain. Okay. But also coming to this party in his hot new whip is frickin' Michael Andretti, her Mike.
Michael
He peeks
Andretti.
through the window as Sammy and her boyfriend Spitz tell
That's
Tina
reference
they've
I
come
get.
up with a great idea. I guess their idea is to suicide by cop, as they run outside where those two doofus clown cops are hanging out and pretend that Spitz is Michael Myers attacking them. Yeah, super hilarious.
that's
when you're
not
bleeding out to
good.
death on the ground with a bunch of bullets in you. Although to be honest, that probably would actually be funnier than these stupid fucking cops and their sound effect
The
accompaniments.
clown.
Fortunately, we're lousy cops. Sorry.
You should be. Sammy
I
finds
mean,
a kitten
oh,
because fuck it, and now
orange
we've got a
boy.
bunch of drunk teens in a barn with a whole litter of
was-
kittens. Tina chases after one.
I
like
miss
she's
my
Arya
orange
Stark in
boys.
training, but Spitz is interested in another kind of pussy, so he and Sammy
Oh.
get down to barnyard business. They kiss each other very loudly and are rushing headfirst into UTI territory when
On
Michael
all that
appears with
hay?
a pitchfork
Yeah.
to teach them about
straw.
abstinence. He sticks it straight through Spitz's back,
Oh!
so the dude ends up spitting out blood, but he dies by himself because this isn't a twofer like you might have expected it to be.
Tried to get a
Instead,
collateral.
Michael has an individual death lined up for Sammy with a scythe. At least she gets to fight
That's-
back a bit after she grabs
just
the
has a
pitchfork
scythe?
from her dead boyfriend's body. and
Now
hangs
her
out Michael
fingerprints
with
are on
it.
the
But
murder
it's
weapon.
to no avail. Michael tosses her aside and kills her with a scythe slash and a just off-screen splash of blood. When this crazy party full of dancing lobsters and
Yo, that costume's
grandmas
sick, though.
finally clears out, Tina goes to the barn to get Sammy and Spitz. In true horror movie fashion, she finds their corpses, so she runs
In a
outside
bunch
and
of
calls
straw.
for help. But you ain't about to get any help from these dead fucking cops, Tina, because it looks like Dumb
No
and
more sound
Dumber was
effects?
stabbed with a pitchfork.
Unless they added
I wonder
one
if
there.
they sounded like a deflating balloon when Michael stuck them. Meanwhile, Jamie and Billy have snuck out of the children's clinic because Jamie's worried about Tina, that super important
For some
sister's
reason.
friend of hers. They run up to Tina right as Michael targets her with the headlights of his car, and then he just starts driving that thing around with all those race car skills he learned growing up in an insane asylum. At one point, he drives at Billy
Prometheus
and almost
school,
hits
run
the
away
poor
from
kid
things.
before moving on to his primary target, his niece Jamie. He chases after her through the fog and this tree grove that kind of slows him down a bit, and then into a proper
it
forest.
shouldn't.
Holy crap, I can't believe we're sitting here watching Drag Race Michael Myers for this long.
Why
dude.
doesn't
Seriously,
she just
since when is
run
his
behind
weapon
a
of choice
tree?
freaking hot rod? Mikey probably should have stuck with a knife, because he ends up ramming his car straight into a tree and causing a big ol' explosion.
Could've done that
that
a
gives
long
Tina
time
and
ago.
Jamie a brief false sense of security. But Michael's up and about in no time, walking slowly towards Jamie in his awful
He's
mask and getting
unfazed
ready
by
to
that.
stab her until Tina interjects and sacrifices herself to save Jamie. Michael stabs her right in the chest, killing our replacement final girl with a full
Ugh.
30 minutes left to this movie. Oh well, it's a good thing nobody liked Tina anyway. Jamie and Billy are found by Dr. Loomis and a whole bunch of the Haddonfield PD. After they're whisked away to safety by all the emergency vehicles, Loomis stays
How many
behind
cops
so he
are
can
in
talk
this
to Michael.
town?
He's still walking around in that misty forest. Loomis tells Michael to go home, or at least the building standing in for his home, so he
Yeah,
can return
the-
to where it all
the
began.
not real
and,
house.
I don't know, stop the evil inside him or some shit. It's a whole bunch of idiot talk.
Okay,
but
and
here
who's
we
gonna
have
be
all the
there? Is there gonna
cops
be a
going
trap
along
there?
with the plan and planting Jamie inside the abandoned old house as bait for her uncle.
What?
But then the cops get a call
but-
from the children's clinic, and all of them rush off to town.
Why?
Because if this movie wants
Why?
to get Loomis and Jamie
That
alone
doesn't
in the
make
Myers
sense.
house, it's not gonna bother coming up with a decent way to make it happen. Once it's down to Jamie, Loomis, and a single cop, Deputy Charlie, Michael starts making his way to the
Okay.
house. First stopping to kill this other police officer named Eddie in his car by just beating him up, I guess. Take that, cop.
Bro has
who's
no
just sitting
awareness.
there. Charlie hears Eddie's death over the walkie, but is stopped from calling it in by Looney Loomis, who asks him kindly
Why?
to just stay put and protect Jamie.
That's not a good idea.
Stay with the little girl, please.
You know, Loomis, that's the second time you've pulled a gun on a cop.
Oh.
You're lucky you ain't dead, dude. Loomis
Yeah.
goes downstairs where Michael is waiting, and the doctor tries to tell the killer
He's actually
that
losing
Jamie
his
can
mind.
help stop the rage that's inside of him. Damn, Michael, you looking like an alien in that stupid-ass big-eyed mask. Loomis's appeal to
way
Michael's
too bright.
humanity doesn't work, of course, and he ends
Stab.
up getting slashed across his chest and thrown through a banister by Michael.
I don't think it
in a
kills him,
rage.
though.
Upstairs, Deputy Charlie and Jamie hear the commotion, so they try to get out of the house through the upstairs window. When Michael starts breaking through the door, Charlie Charlie manages to shoot him a few times, but that's
it's not going to do anything.
Who responds by breaking into the room and wrapping a rope around Charlie's neck so he can kill him by tossing him out the window and breaking his neck via hanging. Michael kills a lot of cops. Meanwhile, at the children's clinic, where all those other cops ran off to, we get another couple of bodies to add to the count. Sheriff Meeker lifts a sheet on a stretcher to find this Dr. Hart dude dead. And behind him on the porch is another stretcher with, I guess, the body of Jamie's nurse Patsy, the internet tells me. Looks like both of them died from a case of who the hell knows.
Wait, Michael, did he teleport there?
He tries to hide in a laundry chute, which gives us the best sequence of the film and the one that fans of Part 5 always cite when they're explaining why they like this piece of shit. As though a single decently done sequence makes up for the clown cops or the Man in Black mess. It's even a little uncomfortable to watch when you know that behind the scenes, little Danielle Harris was actually in a fair amount of danger, as Michael actor and stunt performer Don Shanks actually stabbed through these walls around her with a real freaking knife.
Why?
So, yeah, pretty good sequence, but also recklessly and stupidly shot. So
why would
I'm
you?
not sure it's worth it on balance.
How are you going to put somebody in danger like that?
Up to the house's attic, which has all sorts of movement.
It was rushed, I guess.
Damn, Michael, I didn't know you were so romantic. Maybe you do have a soft spot somewhere deep in. Oh, there's a dead dog. Yep, another dead dog because Michael killed Max. Son of a bitch! Come on. Jamie also.
I know what I hear.
Mike, and
I'm like, why do I hear noise in my house?
Yeah,
I realize,
her,
I know
Rachel?
what it is.
She's the one without pants. You know her. Jamie backs up and gets inside the decorative coffin up there right as Michael ascends and finds her. He gets ready to stab her, but she stops him with two simple words.
Uncle Boogeyman.
She tells her Uncle Boogeyman to let her see his face, and he obliges, so we get to see Michael sans mask once again. It's pretty anticlimactic, but I guess that's
just
the
a normal
point.
face?
Look, he even cries. But when Jamie gets too close, Michael shrinks back and goes on a full-out
really
Phantom
normal.
of the Opera freakout that sends
Just
Jamie
throw a
fleeing
coffin?
as he breaks all the attic furniture in sight. She runs downstairs straight into the arms of Dr. Loomis, which like a few movies ago would have meant salvation from the shape. But now...
You want her!
Sacrifice.
Little...
And Loomis is gonna get it.
Loomis uses his human bait to lure Michael through the house, being pretty damn creepy while he does it.
Also, he can straight up kind of teleport.
Not a game you usually want to play, but I guess in this case it works, because Loomis drops a heavy-looking metal net onto Michael and then starts tranking him up like he's a buck T-Rex. That's still not good enough for Loomis, though, who then proceeds to beat Michael with a 2x4 while yelling at him to die, die, die in a real Tommy Jarvis kind of way. He gets just a tad too excited, though, and ends up having a massive stroke that causes him to pass out on top of Michael like they just got done with a healthy session of lovemaking. Once again, this was originally supposed to be the death of Loomis, and once again, it was retconned later, so it wasn't. Some police cars.
Why did he have a stroke?
And that's how Michael Myers wound up in a jail cell with a bunch of police looking over him. God, I hate the shot of him sitting in jail, messing with his chains. What is he, bored?
He still has the mask on.
And this movie's got one more shit trick up its
shit sleeve. He could teleport, though.
Here comes the jingle-jangling Man in Black strolling up to the police station. From outside, Jamie hears an explosion and gunshots, because Halloween 5 is trying to give us a shock ending.
Man in Black
like Halloween 4
okay,
did,
that makes sense.
You know, bad. Jamie walks inside to see the carnage that the Man in Black hath wrought, which comes out to 7-0 cop characters and also Sheriff Meeker, who's there on the floor somewhere. I can't really discern which one of those corpses is him, but apparently he's among the dead. At least Bo Starr got to escape the franchise.
That got the kill count up high.
The movie ends with Jamie seeing that her uncle has been broken out of jail and her crying, no, no.
And also the music.
Hey, what a
nice
coincidence.
Touch.
That's exactly what I'll say if anyone ever asks if I want to watch this movie again. Let's get to the numbers.
No. What do you think of this movie? Like I said, I read every comment.
20 people died in Halloween 5, which is a
lot.
lot
of them came at the very end.
A bunch of them were just nameless cops. The victims included 16 men and just 4 women, assuming that one corpse was that nurse, and that gives us a 4-to-1 gender ratio favoring dudes. With a runtime of 97 minutes, we wound up with a kill on average every 4.85 minutes. I'll give the Golden Chainsaw the coolest kill to Mike. It's short and simple, but the actor sells it with this little twitching on the ground. Plus, it was nice to see that character go so early. That dude sucked. Dull Machete for lamest kill will go to Dr. Hart and Nurse Patsy, since their deaths don't make a lot of sense to me, and we never hear what exactly happened to them. And that's it. Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers.
Maybe it was the dude in black that did it?
It is the lowest grossing film of the series, which makes sense.
That's understandable. It's earned, yeah.
Speaking of piles of garbage, next week is The Curse of Michael Myers.
Oh, is it also bad?
This has been the
Which
Kill
one's
Count.
worse?
Thanks a lot for watching this week's Kill Count. I want to thank a couple of patrons like Matt Jones, James Ackland, Megan Bade, and Drew Nishke. We're now halfway done with the Halloween franchise. How are you feeling? Do you hate Halloween 5 as much as I do? Probably not. Do you think it's too early to start celebrating Halloween? Do you think you have to wait till October? Next week is most people's
it's December now.
Series, The Curse of Michael Myers. Can't wait. Thanks everyone. Be good people.
Curse of Michael Myers. Let's go.
Welcome to the Kill Count.
This one's a little bit newer,
the victims in all our favorite horror movies. I'm James A. Janice, and today we're looking at Halloween: The Curse of Michael Myers.
There's no way you
sixth
hear
film of the series, released in
the
1995. Curse is often regarded as a low point of the series, and it's not hard to see why.
Marred
by a plague of production
editing
issues,
error I had
nearly
to
a dozen
fix.
rewrites, the
So I had to
theatrical cut
render
of
it on
this
my
film
laptop
is an incoherent mess, jumping between scenes and storylines without any reason or rhythm, and giving a half-assed continuation of the ridiculous cult stuff introduced in Part 5. Now, there is an alternate version of this movie called The Producer's Cut that does a better job explaining the cult storyline, and that features more than a half hour of alternate footage, including an entirely different ending. While this video will only look at the theatrical cut, I'm happy to announce a new Dead Meat series, The Cut Comparison, that will examine
that's actually kind of cool.
different cuts of the films I cover.
That's
the
a
first
great
episode
idea.
will feature this movie, and if you're watching this in the future, you can click up there to check it out. But even that alternate version can't rescue what is, by all means, a bad movie. Sure, writer Daniel Farrens did his best to tie together and reference all the previous Halloween films, and yes, this is the feature film debut of Paul Stephen Rudd, everyone's favorite hot stepbrother / bite-sized superhero.
Wait,
but
Paul
neither
Rudd?
Rudd nor
Like
Donald
Ant-Man?
Pleasence,
I've
who
only
returned
seen
as Sam Loomis in his final film role ever, can make up for this
Quantumania?
bizarre mess that had way too many cooks in the kitchen, all trying to rewrite the movie mid-shoot. Maybe the kills wound up all right, though? Let's find out.
I don't know. Which one's worse?
The
5 or
some crazy
this?
goddamn flashes that preview the wave of bullshit ahead. We surf that wave right into the ride queue of Indiana Jones' adventure, while shots with a squished aspect ratio reintroduce Jamie Lloyd, now played by J.C. Brandy, after the studio didn't want to pay Danielle Harris a decent rate. They did you wrong, Danielle, you the best. In an uncomfortably sweaty scene full of weird dissolves and slow motion,
birth?
Jamie is encouraged to push through a natural childbirth. No delicious drugs for her. After her baby is born, he's given to that man in black bastard against the protestations of his mother, and then taken to a ritualistic ceremony where he gets the curse symbol for Michael's wrist tattoo drawn on his little baby body in blood. And no, I don't personally think it's necessary to censor baby genitalia, but who the fuck knows what YouTube has a problem with these days. A regretful nurse named Mary.
That's very true. And this was 6 years ago.
And kicks off an
only gotten worse.
with some stupid sound effects.
And more confusing.
After telling Jamie to save her baby, the nurse trots down a hallway only to get accosted by Michael Myers from the shadows. He lifts her up by the neck and,
why'd you just look at him?
Convenient wall spike nearby,
Why?
able to impale her through the head to give us the first kill of this film. You know, after watching all these movies, I think Michael just hates bare walls.
Wall decor.
He's always trying to decorate them with human bodies. At least he knows what he likes. Jamie escapes through a smoky
My house doesn't have a lot of wall
and
decor.
makes her get away from Michael as the classic Halloween theme gets picked on a guitar. She gets into a truck, and after the ponchoed owner yells at her, asking her what she's doing, he joins the kill count as well with a quick, gory neck snap from Michael out of nowhere. Pro tip, if you ever find yourself in a Halloween movie, don't drive a truck. You will wind up dead.
Every time.
Ends up at a bus station.
Oh, Michael wasn't underneath that truck as well?
Still got that thorn mark on his chest. Maybe go ahead and wash that off now?
Yeah, probably should.
Go out, and surprise, surprise, Michael and his silhouette have arrived. But when he checks out the bathroom stalls, he finds that Jamie's no longer there. She's driving that truck again, trying to escape
he's underneath the truck
but
somehow.
he catches up in a van in no time and drives her off the road, causing her to crash into a bunch of pumpkins. She gets out of the truck and meanders her way into a barn where in no time at all, Michael appears to choke slam her onto some farm equipment that, as we can see, goes straight through her torso. As she bleeds to death from her new stomach spears, Jamie reaches out her hands to her uncle, maybe for a hug or something, but all he offers her is certain death by pushing her deeper down onto the spikes. And if that wasn't bad enough, Michael motherfucking Myers then turns the machine on so the blades can mulch Jamie Lloyd's insides. A glory end for the
like
best
an auger
character
thing?
of the middle Halloween movies, but since it's not Danielle Harris, it's kind of hard to muster up an emotional reaction to it. Michael heads back to the truck to collect his grandnephew, I think is the right relation, but turns out that baby ain't there. It's just blankets. Time to meet this movie's new characters
who has
happen to live in the old Myers house. Apparently, now the man in black is speaking in dreams or some shit.
Danny. Kill for him.
Yeah, to this little kid Danny, who keeps seeing the MIB in his room. But when his mom Kara looks in the dark corner, all she sees is a colorful Pachycephalosaurus toy. Where'd you get that, Dan? Thing's dope. Kara puts Danny back to bed.
James and
goes
his
to her room
dinosaurs.
to get undressed for sleep times herself. But careful there, Kara, because across the street you've got a peeping Paul Rudd spying on you with a camera. That is not being a very good role model.
Who just looks out the window like that, though?
The little boy Laurie Strode babysat in the original film.
I would want to know.
Jock radio show hosted by a dude named Barry Sims to talk about his obsession obsession with the shape and make a prediction that old Double M will be coming back to Haddonfield soon to kill once more. Listening to this program is Dr. Sam Loomis, who talks back to the radio when another caller says that he heard the good doctor died.
Not dead. Just very much retired.
Loomis gets a visit from Dr.
This is only like a 5-year...
the same character he briefly talked to in a single scene back in the original film. So, like, yeah, you totally remember that guy. He's super 100%. And very memorable, right? Wynn says he's retired from Smith's Grove and wants Loomis to take over for him, because nobody makes a better replacement for your job than a 75-year-old recovering stroke victim. It's now Halloween Day in Haddonfield, the perfect time for neighborhood kids to set up Michael Myers pranks in the front yard of his own home.
Don't do that.
The angry patriarch of the family living there now is Kara's dad, John Strode, who would be Laurie Strode's uncle since he's the brother of her dad, who we briefly saw in the original film. John's wife and Kara's mom.
Wow, there's a whole lot of callbacks to the
parents
original.
Were named after John Carpenter and Deborah Hill. But as we'll see, their relationship is one with domestic abuse involved, so like, maybe don't do that. Their other kid, Kara's younger brother Tim, is hanging out with his nephew Danny and matching shirts extolling the kick-assery of that radio host Barry Sims. Barry kicks ass. John comes in all pissed off about everything in the world, and during his angry old man rant, calls his grandson Danny a bastard. When Kara tries to defend her son, this happens.
I see only one bastard in this house.
Oh!
Damn, dude, you better watch that shit.
Bad.
That kind of assholery will earn you a knife pointed at your belly, courtesy of your own grandbastard, Danny, whose character was actually named after an equally disturbed little boy, Danny Torrance. Danny's not the only one hearing voices all day, though, because Tommy Doyle's been poring over a recording of Barry's show from the night before, which Jamie Lloyd had actually called into shortly before
on the run.
Murder. Tommy hears a bus station PA announcement in the background of Jamie's call, and that leads him to the depot she made her call from. He follows a trail of somehow unclean blood into the
nobody saw that?
He finds a somehow unfound baby in a cabinet. Looking for babies in
that wasn't crying at all?
60% of the time, it works every time. Tommy takes the baby to a hospital and finds Dr. Loomis just standing there.
Wasn't his face more messed
up? In this
up?
cut, there's really no reason for him to be there. Sure, he and Wynn have already visited that barn and found Michael's car.
Or maybe he called him ahead of time?
But Jamie Lloyd is dead. There's no reason for him to be at the hospital, unless he was getting some routine checkups, which, you know, at that age isn't a bad idea.
75,
actually, good job, Loomy. Way to take care of yourself. Tommy tells Loomis that this stranger baby is Jamie's son, and that they should meet later at the local college campus if Loomis wants more tea on Michael.
How old is the actual baby
takes off,
for filming?
Over like a baby snatching troll. We go to that campus next. It's Haddonfield Junior College, of course, where Kara attends classes with her brother Tim and his girlfriend Beth. After Kara drops her books on the ground, Beth finds a
we've all been there.
drawn by Danny, and because we're in the 90s now, Tim does a really bad butthead impersonation.
I think it's cool.
That sucked. Meanwhile, Michael has made his way home and is spying on Deborah Strode as she cleans up the Halloween decorations. Hey lady, maybe you should actually leave those out for Halloween night. Wouldn't want Sam to get you. Instead of Sam, though, Deborah's got to worry about a creepy voice calling her on the phone.
We want the child.
And after it hangs up, she turns around
and Michael's there.
Sees Michael Myers and then runs
Yeah, you saw him in the
off
background.
The stupidest chase scene I've ever witnessed. What? Did you forget the layout of your own backyard? And now she's being bested by bed sheets? When she tears away another sheet, she finds Michael standing there with a hatchet.
Clotheslines do you have in your backyard?
A mighty swing that covers those clean linens in her blood. Good luck getting those stains out, Mike. It's gonna take a whole lot of club soda. I guess he acted fast to get him out though, because when Kara gets home later that day, she doesn't find any blood sheets hanging up. In fact, all she finds is her son Danny playing Game Boy Classic on the bed while Tommy Doyle cradles a stranger baby. Nothing weird about that. Besides,
where'd that come from?
Danny seem to have hit it off real well.
But Tommy's my new friend, and he knows all about dinosaurs.
Oh, this fool knows about dinosaurs?
That's
that
all you
changes
need.
Everything. Welcome to the family, motherfucker. Tommy takes them across the street to the boarding house he lives at, run by the elderly Mrs. Blankenship. No relationship to the Hellcat Ida Blankenship, though. She was an astronaut. Tommy hops on his high-tech personal
Only Blankenship I know is Rodrigo.
3D3D3. He boots up Microsoft Myers to explain to Kara that thorn symbol is actually a constellation and a
which one?
A rune and I don't know. Just keep looking at the screen so I can sniff on that hair, girl. He says the cult of the thorn is after
like the
Jamie's
quietest baby
so
ever.
Be Michael's final sacrifice for whatever reasons, and then he heads out to meet up with Dr. Loomis. After he leaves, Mrs. Blankenship tells Kara that Danny hears the same voices in his head that little Mikey Myers heard the night he murdered his sister all those years ago. And speak of the stalker, looks like he's right outside that window right now. half. Tommy
wow,
told
he
Loomis
is.
to meet him at this big carnival-looking
Was
festival
that supposed to
taking
be,
place
or
in
was
the
that just
Haddonfield
like
Junior
a
College
if you know,
campus.
you know,
The purpose of
you'd
this
notice
party
thing?
is to protest Haddonfield's ban on Halloween, and the guest
They
of
banned
honor
Halloween?
is radio shock jock Barry Sims, who's finally appearing in the flesh. Barry is played by Leo Jeter, but the role was originally written for Howard Stern, if you couldn't tell by the dialogue.
Oh.
Does she get this riled up in the sack, Tim? I bet she wears crotchless panties and barks like a dog.
Stern turned it down because his own film, Private Parts, was just about to start filming. And
Howard
also,
Stern?
you know, probably because
Was
he
he
just
in
read the
movies?
script and was like, yeah, no, I'm good. When Sims finds out that Tim Strode lives in the actual Myers house, he demands a company move to go finish the broadcast live from Murder Mansion. Hope that's gonna be okay with drunk-ass John Strode, who crashes his way home and complains to an empty house about his empty stomach.
Thanks for the dinner.
After the lights in the place
nobody
go
there.
out, he heads downstairs with a
Oh,
flashlight.
this is gonna be
and finds
satisfying,
those bloody
hopefully.
sheets that
Oh.
Michael at least had the decency to wash. But he's not done.
Michael Myers
He's
knows how to
also
wash
ready
clothes.
Clean up this domestic situation. So he stabs John in the gut with a knife, then lifts him up and carries him across the basement so he can further stab him into the house's circuit breaker. In one of the more
What?
drastic
Into
differences
this-
between the two
Huh?
bits of the movie, John's theatrical kill is 1,000 times gorier as electricity surges through him, causing him to froth at the mouth and eventually making his goddamn head explode. Holy shit, that was awesome. It's one of the few advantages this
That
movie
might be the
has
golden
over
chainsaw,
producer's cut.
especially
Barry Sims, who
since
takes after many characters
what
in the series,
what
but
he
not
did
wearing
earlier.
pants, is headed to the Myers house and gets into a van to drive there. Turns out it's the wrong van though, because this one
How do you
has
get
a
into the
Michael
wrong-
Myers
okay.
inside, who kills the Stern wannabe by stabbing him a couple of times below screen. Later on, Tommy is shocked to find a little girl dancing around in what she thinks is just your average warm red rain, when in actuality,
not. It's
blood
wait,
dripping
why is
down from Barry's corpse, which Michael somehow strung up in a tree with a bunch of Halloween lights. How the fuck do you even do that without anyone noticing? It would probably take like a ladder.
It would
maybe
also
a
make a
pulley
lot of
system,
noise,
Whatever.
and
At least the commotion
tree
brings
would
Loomis around,
make-
so he and Tommy
moving a lot?
finally reunite. Tim and Beth head back to his house, and even though Barry Sims just said he'd be coming over there with a whole goddamn radio crew, they light a bunch of candles and get to fucking each other in Kara's bed. By the way, great framing with that candle flame. You're almost doing my job for me, Cam-Op. Tim leaves Beth to shower the sex off, and when he gets out, he's promptly killed by Michael Myers,
how do you get in the bathroom?
With his knife to slit his throat, and also his armpit, I guess. Maybe he was just trying to do a lymph node biopsy. I've been there. Across the street, as Danny hears more voices inside his head, Kara notices some lights at her house. She calls over and gets Beth on the line just in time to do nothing as Michael comes from behind and kills Tim's girlfriend by stabbing her a bunch of times in the back. Most of it in slow motion shots.
Is she still on the
classic
phone, though?
Halloween theme.
Oh, yeah,
Kara
definitely.
watches it all through Tommy's spy cam setup, which, let's not forget, is super fucking creepy, you schmuck. Next thing you know, Danny's following the voices in his head to the old Myers house. So Kara runs over there and sees him heading upstairs. She arms herself with a fire poker and goes up to her room.
Hey,
where
that's
she finds
a
the bodies
decent
of
weapon.
Beth and Tim in her bed.
Oh.
Where's she supposed to
What is
sleep?
with Michael in
Then she
presentations?
finds Danny, but not by himself. For a limited time only, this kid comes with a free Michael Myers. Kara actually manages to
Not the
trick
buy one, get
Tommy
one.
and knock him down the staircase with her fire poker, which puts him out long enough for her and Danny to escape the house and run outside. Tommy
Does
and
she have to
Loomis
step
gotten
over
back
him?
by now and find the baby missing from Tommy's room. Wait, yeah, did Kara just leave that newborn there when she ran across the street? What the fuck, Kara? In another scene,
I mean,
reminiscent
Danny
of
was
the
walking
original,
into a
Kara
house
and
with
Danny
a
run across
murderer.
the street as Michael
So I'm not
slowly
sure what's the
pursues
right
them
call.
and pound on the door they're locked out of for a while before they're finally let in to be safe from the stalker. Only turns out inside the house isn't that safe after all.
Because
Come to me.
Ho ho ho, that is in fact the modulated voice of the man in black. He summons Dan
I was
Dan
about to
to
say,
his lap
that's
and
not Michael
reveals
Myers
himself to
talking.
be none other than Dr. Wynn, the dude you've seen for like a minute so far in this cut. What a totally unexpected yet satisfying twist to this movie. Then there's just a cavalcade of craziness. Some Spanish Inquisition looking dude show
Oh,
up.
no, I did not expect.
Kara runs upstairs and finds Mrs. Blanket
Come on.
the call, and then Kara fucking jumps out a window to get away from the cult. What? Dude, what are
Now,
we even doing
that
in this movie?
is
Calling
realistic.
back to that shot of Michael in the original? Cool, I guess. That shot fades
Nah,
to black. and
that
comes
is
back
that
to
is what you
this.
do.
Where is she? Where's Kara?
Forget
don't
the
know,
whole
man. This movie doesn't make any
safely
sense.
I
thing.
feel like I've been drugged. We have been drugged.
What? When did that happen?
When?
I'll tell you
By
something.
who?
I feel like I've been drugged just watching this incoherent mess. Kara
Did they
wakes up
cut
in a
something
cell
out?
at Smith's Grove, so Ant-Man and Dr. Loomis rush over there. Loomis leaves to confront his old colleague Dr. Wynn, with a handgun of course, and asks him for answers to questions like what the hell is going on in this movie.
Why does it kinda remind me of Harrison Ford?
Is pure uncorrupted evil, and that the druidic thorn cult is going to use Jamie's baby for— oh, the henchman knocked Loomis out. Could I get one of those too? You can wake me up after the movie's over. Meanwhile, Tommy has heard some screaming and follows it deeper into the sanitarium, where he comes across a lady with bad teeth and a bloody stomach. She tells him that he's back now and asks Tommy how it feels to be damned before she falls to the ground dead. Who was she and what point did she have in this movie?
Just to scare him?
Not a single living person could tell us. Tommy finally locates Kara, who's in room 237 for a really sweet reference, and as he bashes away at the doorknob with a fire extinguisher, Michael shows up and causes Tommy to twitch out in a real insane way. Seriously, Paul, I love you, man, but I don't know what you're doing with your face right now. He eventually gets the door open and rescues Kara just in time to escape Michael's clutches. The two of them come across.
Does Michael ever run, or does he just walk everywhere?
Crew gets ready to, honestly, I don't even know, but it definitely involves that baby.
That's
Apparently,
not good.
The cult didn't clear their plans with Michael, though, because he shows up right outside the operating room and takes his pick from a selection of weapons available to him. I see you're going with the surgical machete. Good choice,
That's
Michael.
not
Huge
a thing.
Flashing lights warning to everyone watching, okay? Like, seriously, if you're an epileptic or anything like that, skip over the next minute. Because as Tommy looks through a window, he sees Michael go on a killing rampage while an extremely irritating strobe light goes off. During this massacre, he kills what I believe to be 6 doctors, 2 of them women and 4 of them men, including Dr. Wynn, who we never actually see die, but he's in the room, and I don't think he's making it out of there alive.
Yeah, I don't think anybody is.
Though, it's real hard to tell because of all these flashing fucking lights. They're making me nauseous, man. Kara
Like,
and
why
Tommy
did
escape
they
with
do...
Danny and the baby and are running through a Freddy Krueger lair while Michael Myers
and we still have flashing lights.
Also caught up in this chase is an injured doctor played by George P. Wilbur, who played Michael Myers in Part 4 and the rest of this movie until he was replaced during reshoots by a slimmer actor, Michael Lerner. Tommy ends up locking the gate behind him, and that spells the end for Wilbur's
That's
cameo,
the last name.
Michael comes up behind him and kills him by slamming his head against the bars and pushing with such force that he breaks both the doctor's head and the gate itself. The Protex to the hospital as Michael speedwalks after.
One of them would have to give not both.
Laboratory that wouldn't look out of place in a Power Rangers movie. What are those embryo babies? What the fuck? Tommy steps out of hiding and tells Michael he's won the game. Congrats! Here's your complimentary baby. But as Michael goes to collect his prize, Tommy injects him in the shoulder with a bunch of, I don't know, stuff.
Acid?
That really slows Michael down.
Or something?
But not too much to toss Tommy against the wall.
Or was that Freddy
Kara
Krueger?
Comes out and hits Mikey in the face with a pipe, then proceeds to do that over and over for a good while until Tommy takes over with another injection and an even longer beatdown with the pipe. Kara, Danny, and the baby escape as Tommy just goes ham on Michael Myers. Damn, dude, you want to talk about it? He gets Michael real gross and green.
Why?
Wait,
why is he green?
Before tossing down the pipe and walking away with a real unbecoming maniacal giggle. We get a very abrupt ending where Tommy asks a still living Loomis to come away with him and Kara. Loomis declines, citing some business he needs to tend to, and after they drive away, we see a shot of Michael's mask empty on the ground. The movie ends with the sound of Sam Loomis screaming from somewhere in Smith's Grove. And with that, I will put the good doctor on the
really?
Because sadly, Donald Pleasance passed away before this movie even came out, and this was the way
that's
to write
sad.
the character out of the series. He has a different fate in the producer's cut, and yet another
I wonder
in
what
H2O,
that is.
but for this timeline, I'll count this as his death. With the good doctor included, how many kills did the theatrical cut of Curse give us overall? Let's find out and get to the numbers.
What? What?
17 people died in the theatrical
okay, a little bit less, but it wasn't
Myers,
just a whole bunch of cops at once.
That strobe light. The victims included 10 men and 7 women, giving us this pie chart to look at, and with a runtime of 88 minutes, that left us with a kill on average of 5.18 minutes. I'll give the golden chainsaw for coolest kill to John Strode, obviously. Toots fucking top that shit.
Back-to-back times I predicted the golden chainsaw.
We'll go to the 6 doctors Michael kills in
figured that was gonna happen.
It's impossible to
back-to-back ones were doctors and nurses were the dull machete.
Why is he killing them all of a sudden? And why not give
and
Wynn a
the
proper
golden
death?
chainsaw is
and
a
that's
bad
Halloween,
guy.
The Curse of Michael Myers came out in 1995.
Like not a good person.
One of the last pre-Scream horror movies. The next Halloween film would be highly influenced by Wes Craven's masterpiece, and in the process, completely ignored this movie and the 2 that came before it. I'm talking about Halloween H2O, of course, which I'll cover next
That'll be
week.
next week for me as well, as well as another one, which is going to be awesome. Hopefully, I don't know.
Like Allison Whitehead, Pat Carr, Rachel Jackson, and Javier Rojo. Some of you are upset that I don't like these movies. That's okay, man. Everyone has opinions.
Like them?
Next week is a movie I actually do like, so look forward to that. Remember, if you're watching
he likes
this video
H2O?
not on the day it came out, then the cut comparison should be out. Go watch it. I hope it's good. All right, thanks.
I hope it's good. That's funny. Yeah, we're gonna do. Wait. Oh no, we did Curse of Michael Myers. We have H2O, and then we're gonna do Halloween Resurrection, and then we also have the 2007 Yeah, I think I'm gonna do H2O Resurrection next week, and then we get to that, we'll do the 2007 remake and Halloween 2 2009 version. And then we'll go back and do the look-scene Sunny Family Cult Season 3. And then Suspiria? 1977? I don't know what that is. Ice Cream Man? I've never heard of these. I've heard of Frankenstein. The Evil Dead. I want to say I've actually seen that movie. I watched it a couple years ago. I did not see Evil Dead 2, though. Army of Darkness. Yep, no. A whole lot of movies I've never seen. Unfriended. Oh, that's a sequel to that one. Silent Hill. What? Oh, then we have Jurassic World. Okay, there's Silent Night. Never heard of these. Never heard of these. We got a lot of kill counts coming up that I've never heard of, never seen. Actually, out of all of these, I've only seen one of these, and that was The Evil Dead. So it's gonna be very, very fun coming up the next couple of weeks. So hope to see you there. Hopefully you're subscribed, as we are so close to 100,000 subscribers, trying to hit it before 2025. We have a couple weeks left. We have like 800 subscribers left to go. It's crazy, and like I said, I'll be live streaming today at 5 p.m. playing some Devil May Cry 5 for the very first time. It's been a very fun game so far, but hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I look forward to reading your comments, but until the next video, take care, and key to music.
We're playing as soldiers, making soldiers.